malice. Well, I got a story about this guy. You know, back in my awesome days, well, I'm still in my awesome days. No, back in the day, I used to play a lot of hockey when I was a kid. Tons of hockey, eh? And LeBret used to put on some kids' hockey camps. And I went to one of these camps. And, you know, Ted Nolan came out. That's who's going to come up. And he skated us hard, man. My legs they're still stiff. 18 years later, I'm still like, look, I got this wicked dinner. Ted Nolan is this evening's keynote speaker, is a widely recognized and respected First Nations NHL hockey player and coach. Ted Nolan has been a coaching success at every level of professional amateur hockey, having reached the pinnacle when he was awarded the Jack Adams Trophy as NHL Coach of the Year for his work with the Buffalo Sabres in 1996 and 97. I remember that. That's pretty cool. Nolan is noted for his ability to motivate and teach, and he has a knack for drawing the most from the talent available on his teams. The Ted Nolan Foundation is a registered charity promoting healthy lifestyle choices for all Aboriginal youth. The foundation is committed to the healing, renewal, and revitalization of the mind, the body, and spirit for our young people. The foundation works to explore and train Aboriginal leaders today so they can take their rightful place in Canadian society tomorrow. Please join me and warmly welcome Mr. Ted Nolan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your introduction. I don't really know where to start. I've been doing this speaking thing for a number of years, and almost everywhere I go, I always start off with pretty well the same thing, because each and every one of us in this room we have a beginning, somewhere we started, and my journey started when I was a little kid growing up in the Garden River First Nation outside the city of Sault Ste. Marie. I've got 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and we had a large family back in when I was growing up in Garden River. It was about 400 people. So that's where my story began. And fast forward, I finally made it to the National Hockey League. I played in the National Hockey League. I got drafted by the Detroit Red Wings and played with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I coached in the National Hockey League. And almost everywhere I go, I start off with pretty well the same thing, because we all have beginnings. And I played my one of my first games in the National Hockey League. I was playing. We played in Joe Louis Arena. Next couple of days, we played down in Chicago Stadium. And it was probably one of the most exciting points of my life up to that point. I was 23 years old, and I came back home to Sault Ste. Marie that summer, and they asked me to be a guest speaker. Like you asked me to come up here and be a guest speaker. And this is my first time ever public speaking, and I still remember my first speech, and I like to share it with you. Because I studied it for 3 weeks leading up to the point of the presentation. I took it fishing with me in front of the mirror, and I practiced it. And here's my first speech. Hi, my name is Ted Nolan. I was born and raised on the Garden River First Nation outside the city of Sault Ste. Marie. As you're all aware, I played my minor hockey right here in the city. I got drafted in 1978 by Detroit Red Wings. I just completed my first year in the National Hockey League. Thank you very much for inviting me. Is there any questions? I studied that thing for 3 weeks. Because anybody who ever hopped in front of a microphone to speak in front of people, it's tough and it's scary, and especially a lot of us coming from small communities, and my community is very small. Like I said, there was about 400 people, and we spoke when we were spoken to, and we were very shy. And going into the city, go to school, and trying to make friends, and all those type of things, it was very difficult. And so when I hopped in front of the mic for the first time, it was scary, but I vowed to myself when I left my reserve, because I left with a dream and a hope one day that if I worked hard enough and if I practiced hard enough and if I did the right things, maybe one day I'll have a chance to play in the National Hockey League. And when that day happened, I vowed to myself, walking up those stairs at the old Chicago Stadium, walking out there, and I said, if I ever played one game in the National Hockey League, I really wanted to come back and share my story with the rest of our people in different communities, and saying that, geez, if this little skinny Ojibwe kid from Garden River could play in the national hockey league, anybody could do anything. So I really wanted, so that was that's why I really wanted to get over that fear of public speaking, because I really wanted